Good morning, everybody. I almost forgot how to do this, and it's only been one day. I think I might be in a turkey coma. How did everyone's holiday go? Some people are like, what holiday? I just went to the casino. I had the day off. I just spent it. However, you did it, how did it go? Good morning, Lisa. Hello, Diana. Hello, Bama Cat. Just me made it in. Just me was posting pictures of some homemade pies she made. I was very jealous of. Shani said hers was lovely. Hello, Mama B. I love all the food pics. I made a thread in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. People were posting their food pictures in there. Of course, there's a room in Discord for just all about food. We talk about food all year long. We like food. So I know there's those funny memes that go around and people say, quit posting pictures of your food. We're all eating the same thing. I don't care. Some people have homemade tamales. Some people are like, no, we do a big lasagna. I love all the food pictures. If you were one of those that posted a picture of a plate with a half-eaten roll and a couple of kernels of corn saying the food was great, you probably didn't get a reaction out of me. Okay? We all know those people. We trust you. We did not have to get that visual. We know. You ate. Hello, Jinbug. Hello, Sonia Gray. Gabby's mom made it in. Another friend from down under came to see us. Hello. Hello, Casey. Casey got the notification. Good. Good. We had a members live Wednesday morning. Now I post them on the members tab. And a lot of people were saying, I didn't get the notification. And then even more concerning, on Tuesday, the show that we did, and I don't even remember what show we did. This week has seemed a month long. I'm saying let's do a catch-up show. I don't even know where to start. You guys are all in trouble. Anyway, so people are like, no, I have to go to the channel to see it. I don't know what's going on. Something with the algorithm is definitely off. So all I can suggest is that we make sure we have the remind on and we're liking the videos so we can get reminded, I guess. I don't know. I don't work there. I know there's definitely something on because I went to my YouTube last night. I was finishing the other half of the pumpkin cheesecake I decided to put out of its misery. And on my homepage, it's suggesting, well, of course, University of Idaho, and it's like from 6 days ago. Well, we all know I'm caught up on that. I got that part down. Hello, Pat K. Pat K was talking about gift certificates you can get for handwriting analysis she's giving out for Christmas. I thought that was very interesting. Hello, Plead the Fifth. I'm in my dining room, so you can hear the ice machine loud and clear. For those that wonder if I'm getting broke into, I'm not. Hello, Amanda Hudson. How is everyone doing? If I missed anybody, I apologize. I wasn't here earlier today chatting with you guys. And yesterday, I was getting some things loaded for the show today. I missed you guys, so I was in here just lonely by myself. Maybe somebody will come in before the show and say hi. No, I'm kidding. But a few of you were in here saying, can't wait for the show. I heard this, I heard that. Well, one of you was talking about freaking terror in the Northeast right now. This Christopher Francis Queenie. So I went and I did a video and I put it out. A lot of you saw it. If not, you'll have to go search for it on my channel to find it. He is on the loose and he's a very dangerous person. This should be everywhere. I do believe there's a danger in Moscow, Idaho, for sure. mean, there was a quadruple murder and they don't have a suspect and they don't have an arrest. There's one in the Northeast too, and it needs to be known. So we got to get that out there for sure. So did you all watch the parade? Of course, eat your food, probably in turkey coma cleanup mode like me, and we did ours on Wednesday night. I like to do ours early because there's so much running around the day of, and I'm selfish, so I like to have time to graze. I don't sit down in front of a big plate. I would pass out. I would pass out. My old blood sugar can't take that. Time to visit and play a game. We played this game. It's like it's called Murder Mystery. I'll put it in Discord and I'll put it on the channel and stuff. And everybody has a role to play. And then you solve the crime. Well, I didn't solve the crime. As I always tell you guys here, you're not in good hands. Anyway, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. The parade was really neat. As usual, I watched that yesterday. Paula Abdul, either her dermatologist has stellar fillers or she's a vampire because she does not age. She was lip syncing like it was 1989. It was really entertaining. My first text of the day, I figured it was somebody just saying, hey, happy Thanksgiving. What are you doing? Picture of a turkey going in the oven. But I got a reminder from my dentist office telling me it's time for my cleaning. That was sort of insult to injury, considering I, like I said, put out half of a pumpkin cheesecake by myself. I saw someone say they had gumbo. I love gumbo. I do. Anytime I can get a hold of Mexican food or Cajun food, I'm in. I might even try to make a turkey gumbo. I don't know. I'm sounding like Forrest Gump here with turkey instead of shrimp. But no, it was good. It was laid back. And now we're on to pandemonium, right? Because whether you do a lot for Christmas or you don't, December goes by like a blink. It is just gone. Gone. And it's Friday. So who's braving the crowds? Do people still start standing in line at 2 a.m.? I don't know. I haven't done that racket in years. I have not seen a lot of course, there's Black Friday ads, but nothing that's really, none of it would catch my eye. So let me rephrase. Nothing that would cause mass hysteria pandemonium for the shoppers. I don't have little kids at home, but I haven't seen like any game systems being pushed. I haven't seen like the new game to have, the new phone coming out, the TV you can't live with because, God knows you were in line the last 5 years getting the new TV you couldn't live with. I haven't seen anything like that. I don't know what's going on. I did stand in line this morning, 6 a.m. for a computer. What kind of computer? What kind of deal did you get? My husband got me a computer for my birthday. It's a laptop, but anyway. So I'm good on the electronics, and I'm not a tech person anyway. You guys have seen my videos, so you know. Not up on all that. Amazon is, Amazon. Amazon. You got it. You got it. So let's jump in here. Hello, Savage. Savage made it in. So Savage got a notification. Snow. What is Snow saying about Black Friday? That one Black Friday years ago was horrible. People, that was such a, I don't know when all that really ended. It seems like in the late 90s up until like 2010, it seemed like every Monday before they started talking about Cyber Monday, you would hear about all these people getting trampled on. Poor store workers are behind the doors as if they're security for a damn Motley Crue concert. They open the doors and they just mow them over. They don't care if it's some 85-year-old grandma that was standing there. That was insane. Oh, you're right, Yamaha. The Cabbage Patch days, that was a big deal. I think I was one of the last kids on the planet to get a Cabbage Patch doll. And of course, I didn't like its name, and I had to fill out a birth certificate and all of that stuff. Good morning, Plant Diva. Yes, Mama Kay. Crazy, crazy times. We certainly don't learn, do we? Because the minute we get past one crazy time, we get to another. Cutting Up said, I wait for Cyber Monday. Savage, when did you get your Cabbage Patch Kid? I was like in 4th or 5th grade. Nintendo was a huge deal. Atari. I don't like crowds either, Misty D. That's the reason COVID didn't affect me. That did not mess up my game at all. When all of that was going around about social distancing and stuff, I was like, I don't like people up in my junk anyway. Dang, Savage, you were spoiled. You didn't have to wait too long. That or you're much younger than me. All right, so let's start getting up to date. The link is pinned. Don't be shy. Come up and tell me what you think. Get me caught up to date. Because there's really no way I can even really go through all of it. I did not do a show this week about Delphi. Richard Allen, who might have little big man syndrome because I'm taller than him, I think. I kind of got some flack for bringing up his height. Bridge guy just looked a little bigger to me from the video. He went to court, no bond. They want him released on his own recognizance. He has 2 defense attorneys paid for by the state of Indiana. Fine by me. He needs a good defense. Don't want anything to fall through later if he is indeed guilty. They said that there's nothing in the probable cause that points to him. Some people say they're just doing the defense game. Some people are like, well, now hold on. How do we know? Because we haven't seen it. The prosecutor came out and said, well, we think there could be another person. And I'm sitting there going, involved, not in place of Richard Allen. And I'm like, well, you just kicked open the door to reasonable doubt. Not that anybody would doubt a second person or a third person or a fourth could be involved in the murders of Libby and Abby. But, well, you just put it all out there. You kicked that door open like a 1999 Black Friday sale. I was a little surprised about that. We'll do a show about it next week as more things come out. He has a hearing, I believe, in February for his bond. Another court hearing that we did not cover on the channel this week, it was a crazy week, was for little Monkey Vaughn. Sarah was deemed incompetent for now. She's going to be in a institution for a while, and they're gonna get her up to par. That's how they do it in Idaho and many other states. I got to find a nickname for her because Sarah's a beautiful name and I don't want to insult anyone named Sarah. So help me out. They still have not found little monkey. They're about to wrap up the search, but I still have hope that they're going to get to the bottom of this. I truly, truly do. I know they say they have a lot of stuff being analyzed. It could very well be that at one time he was in that backyard and not now. That's just my speculation. We'll definitely do a show about that next week. So I'm going to go through some comments and then we're going to hash out some stuff about this maniac on the loose in the Northeast. Touch on that a little bit because I do not know everything about this. Not that anybody could. But if you are in the Northeast, just know that there is a wanted man out on the streets. All right, so this obviously was not an after show comment. This was when I was in here getting this show ready. I was putting some video clips in and stuff. And one of you awesome people popped in to say, hey. And when you said, hey, you said you need to look at this Christopher Francis Queenie on the loose in the Northeast. He murdered his 11-month-old baby daughter last Friday, a week ago today, on November 18th. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. He is wanted. He is a dangerous, dangerous criminal. I mean, aren't they all? But he kind of takes it to a new level. He dismembered his little baby girl. There's rewards out there by the authorities, not by individuals that put together a raffle. The authorities, and you know how I feel about rewards, half the time nobody gets them anyway. But anyway, there's one for like $5 million and one for $10,000. The FBI is involved. They're not building a case. There's nothing like that. Well, I mean, they are building a case, but they're not waiting. They want him in custody. He strangled and dismembered this little baby girl. Hang on. Now, this clip is a little outdated. It's actually from like last Saturday or Sunday.
This is a still from surveillance video on Quinnipiac Ave in New Haven around 4 p.m. Friday afternoon. The individual matches the clothing description, and officers believe this to be him. And now we are still working to learn that motive and how that little girl died, and anyone with any information on his whereabouts are urged to call Naugatuck Police Department. Live in New Haven tonight, Eliza Krasinski, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
This should be everywhere, particularly in the Northeast. Someone is hiding him out, and they're at danger too. If you look at my video from yesterday I put up, they make no bones about it. Whoever's hiding him out, they're not saying this person's going to be in trouble or anything like that, and there could be some money involved for them. Just saying. And these people walking around with these rags on their face as if they're trying not to get anybody sick. I'm tired of looking at it. So whoever is hiding him out, it's time to use the old guest rule. After you've eaten dinner and I've done the dishes, you're now a nuisance. You're no longer welcome. You're no longer a guest. 11 months old. And they said, we don't know a motive. She's 11 months old. There's no motive. That's going to make any sense. There's no motive. There's no motive. Shut up. Shut up. He took off his GPS tracker. So he planned to get gone already. Supposedly he had a fight with little Camilla's mama. You got to be kidding me. Well, he really showed her, didn't he? Don't mess with me. You've got to be kidding me. It's disgusting. Disgusting. I see we have a new member while I was playing the clip. Welcome, welcome. Make sure you check out the members tab, because I can't trust YouTube to let you guys know what you need to know. It's ridiculous. Had a lot of comments this week, of course, about little Quinton. As we know, Leilani is in jail. The chief said she doesn't deserve a Thanksgiving, and she damn sure didn't get one. A fatal paper cut. By the way, remember, if I showcase the comment that you leave after the show, after show comment, send me an email and you'll find out why. Fatal paper cut said people really, that word is all stretched out, need to understand that Georgia's law for malice murder eradicates accident. The swimming pool bathtub narrative they are obsessed with. It actually implies the murder was done with an evil intent. And intent is the capital word there. Intent. Leilani had a malice. She had an intent against little baby Quinton. Like, say, drugging your kid so you can go party. It's not rocket science. People need to stop making excuses for this drug-addicted murderer. Now, if she did, let's say, give him too much NyQuil or used something to make him sleep, I don't think it would be malice murder. Inexcusable, yes. But this is totally different. Totally different. So what they've been trying to sell since October 5th, 2022, we didn't buy in the first place. And the powers that be in the state of Georgia certainly didn't either. No accident. There's no falling down in the bathtub, taking a big gulp of water, and none of the 3 adults in the house know how to call 911. There's nothing like that going on. Malice. Malice murder. And I hate to state the obvious, but when, not if, but when it's read out in court, there goes my ice machine. When it's read out in court, what they believe Leilani did, it's not going to be a pretty sight. It's not going to be a pretty sight. I believe it was Tiffany Moss is her name, and she killed her stepdaughter. I believe this is in Georgia. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so forgive me. She was charged with malice murder, and she was sentenced to death. Now, in the meantime, something else could have happened with it, but initially that is what happened. So the circus is done. We don't know how she killed him, but it's going to come out. Everything is in law enforcement's hands now. Everything is in their hands. Had a lot of comments about Billy. Going to talk about that. Barb said the fact that the family was raising money for Quinton's funeral before they even knew he was deceased is telling. Now, I don't know when all of that really began, because he went missing on October 5th, and it was fast, it seems like, because that was on a Wednesday. Then on that Monday is when they started draining the pool. Then that Tuesday, I believe, is when they had up all the tarping, that's the word I'm going to use, on the inside of the house. And then the next press conference was, they have every reason to believe he's deceased. Then the screenshots started coming out where she said, Billy said, Quinton has passed. That was the word she used. And Leilani done it, and they think he's in the landfill. Now, I don't know from there, when all the fundraising was going on, about, I wasn't in on that, so I wouldn't know. Money for a funeral. She's not going to need money for a funeral anyway. Most funeral homes do not charge for their services when a child is involved. Now, when I say services, I mean to open up the chapel, let everyone sit down, a minister, or however they do it, do a service. As far as what to do with the remains, whether, burial, cremation, whatever. A couple of you reached out to me, one in particular from Georgia, and I'm very, very sorry for your loss, that when her son passed away in Georgia from a drunk driver, the Victims' Compensation Fund paid for his burial. Now, her son was not married, anything like that. So she would be considered next of kin because she's the mama. In this case, if Georgia does it like my state, I don't know. Next of kin would be Bubba. Bubba took a DNA test when all of this happened. Bubba is the daddy. I don't know the situation with Bubba, if he's this deadbeat dad that they tried to portray him as, if he just didn't come around, or if he was alienated. Parental alienation is a real thing. There's a lot of guys out there and gals that are considered just this POS parent, where on the flip side of it, there is a parent that has alienated them. Parental alienation is a real thing, and I really wish it would be talked about more. So I don't know how it's going to go on. I really don't. I don't know how they do things there. If he would have, I would think he would have more rights than Billy for obvious reasons. On the show, I think it was Tuesday, is when I read out that the state of Georgia, when they removed Zane and Sky, it was in the document from them, because these weren't my words. It said she failed to provide adequate safety, basically, for Quinton, and that she knew or should have known that Leilani was unfit. We have every reason to believe she knew, because of the series of events that led up to October 5th, 2022. And I'm not here to keep pounding on Billy, but I just really hope that Quinton isn't failed again. I really hope that DFACS in Georgia, they may already be doing it. These aren't public things. I really hope that DFACS in Georgia opens up an investigation and they get to the bottom of how Quinton came to be in Leilani's care the evening of October 4th into the morning of October 5th. I think Quinton is owed that. I think Quinton is definitely owed that. Then this comment cracked me up. MJ's mom. This is in regards to the University of Idaho quadruple murder we've been talking about on this channel. Said, here's my sarcastic comment. If they supposedly can't hear multiple murders taking place, why would anyone expect them to hear a dog barking? I don't buy any of this. They had to have heard something. Now, this comment had me rolling, actually, and there's nothing funny about the situation, I get. But I had a comment, I discussed it on the Members Live Wednesday morning, where this lady said, I've listened to you whine for an entire hour about them not hearing anything. I'm not the only one that can't figure that out. I already said I'd leave it alone. But that's true. People say, well, the dog would have alerted something. Well, if they couldn't hear the murders, and we know that Xana had defensive wounds on her, so she had to have been making some noise. I just thought the comment was funny. I just thought it was funny. All right, so on the show Tuesday, we had a few people that were popping into chat, and they were telling me, particularly, it was actually aimed directly at me, to do my research, because what I was talking about, they were saying was incorrect. Now, what I was talking about was that the chief said that Leilani was not afforded the the privilege of turning herself in. Another story has been told that she was in a rehab and her mama went and picked her up, took her to the FBI, and then from there she was transported to Chatham County. Well, the chief isn't saying that. And Brett Buffington with WSAV isn't saying that. And there's actually a news clip where a neighbor, now the neighbor says Tuesday. I think she means Monday because nothing could have been going on Tuesday because Leilani was already in jail. I'm going to look at this clip with you guys. It is a little outdated because today's Friday. They're talking about the bond in this clip. She wasn't given a bond. This judge said that that'll be taken care of down the road. From what I understand, his court can't decide a bond for malice murder, is how it was described to me. Either way, she's sitting where she needs to be. So I'm going to look at this and then I'm going to play the clip from our buddy Brett Buffington. By the way, when Leilani she did not appear in court. She did not appear in court. She didn't even zoom in, from what I understand.
Mother charged with murdering her one-year-old son is set to appear in a Chatham County court for the first time since her arrest. Leilani Simon is facing several charges following the disappearance of her son Quinton back on October 5th. Police say they believe they found the child's remains in a Savannah landfill after a grueling search. Leilani Simon is scheduled to be in court this morning at 11 o'clock.
Our Olivia Wow spoke with neighbors who say they questioned the mother's behavior the morning Quinton was reported missing.
Catherine Martin and her son were out walking the day 20-month-old Quinton Simon first went missing. Now, the day after his mother, Leilani Simon, was arrested, they're out walking again.
I think we all knew that she had something to do with it.
Martin has lived in the what she calls quiet neighborhood for 50 years.
I mean, the day of, I couldn't even believe that a child was missing. There was no mother. I mean, I would have been outside screaming, crying, having everybody I know trying to find my child.
So what Catherine here is saying, when she found out a child was missing from her neighborhood the morning of October 5th, there was no mother out there screaming and crying, looking for her child. So I think we can put that rumor to rest. It seems that everything Leilani, who didn't say much, I can't really say that she said too much, but what her mother tried to sell us, I think it's fair to say, was beyond misinformation.
It was really quiet here. That was strange.
On Monday, police revealed they found what they believe are Quinton's remains at the landfill they've been searching for weeks. The evidence has been sent to a lab now for DNA testing.
We have every reason to believe that this will confirm the remains are Quinton's.
The 22-year-old is charged with malicious murder, concealing deaths, false reporting, and false statements. Her bond hearing is Wednesday. There was a lot of movement at the house on Tuesday, but Martin says Leilani's arrest is another step toward peace for her neighborhood.
My hope and my prayer is that justice is served, and whatever she did, she gets what she deserves, and that this child can be laid to rest.
Reporting in Chatham County, Olivia Weil, WJCL. Movement at the house on Tuesday is Wednesday. There was a lot of movement at the house on Tuesday, but Martin says Leilani's arrest is another step toward peace for her.
Okay, they probably need to do not a retraction, but an edit on that, because she's talking about Monday. Monday was the arrest. There was a lot of movement at the house on Monday. Now, we're just going to use our deductive reasoning, our common sense, and make our own little timeline here based on facts. That, as the chief lined it out, they, through grueling work they did to look for little Quinton in that landfill, and I put it up on the show on Tuesday, is like a 5% success rate when they go to those landfills. Not just for Quinton, anyone they've ever looked for in a landfill. Anyhow, thank goodness for small miracles. They did find partial remains, which are still in a lab being analyzed. So this floating around that the remains are with the family, unless something changed since I got up this morning, they're still with the people analyzing. So on this news clip, Catherine, the neighbor, told the reporter there was a lot of activity. There was something going on. They said on Tuesday it would be Monday. Monday was the arrest. So this whole story about the last meal at the Chinese buffet and all that, we're just going to chalk that up to more bathtub stories. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So they find partial remains on Friday. They make an arrest on Monday. From what I read, it's because they got a preliminary finding that the remains are Quinton. They didn't go through all the remains, but at least something that they found leads them to believe that it is Quinton. I'm going to trust them over what is being spilled out. And it's just absolutely, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, everything is in the hands of the authorities now. I hope Quinton has not failed again and that an investigation, however it turns out, at least it's been looked into. Because we can't scream on one hand that CPS is a big failure and then expect them not to investigate why little Quinton was left in the care of his mother. Of course we want them to do their job. You know, Billy's argument about, well, they never even came and checked. Did she need them to check? What is she trying to tell us? If she's following the safety plan, they have no reason to come check. We don't even know what their schedule was when they come to check. I don't need anybody to come here and check. If someone asks me to babysit their child, I don't need someone to come check to make sure I'm not taking care of the child or taking care of the child. What does she mean? There needs to be an investigation at least. And if the findings are that Billy did nothing wrong, then those are the findings. I just do not believe, I just don't want Quinton failed again. So this is what Brett Buffington said. He was on News Nation. This is about the arrest.
Circumstances of her arrest, where and when it happened?
We know she was picked up from her home and taken to the Chatham County Detention Center. That happened just as they were making that arrest or making that announcement on yesterday. They told us that they didn't want anyone to have any exclusives in this case. They would release this to every affiliate here in Savannah at the same time. And they kept their word to that. I can tell you that they called the news directors and they gave us a heads up that there was an announcement coming. They made that announcement. And we know that she was quickly booked into the Chatham County Jail. She was supposed to have a bond hearing.
Okay, I cut it off right there at the bond hearing because she had a bond hearing. She didn't get bond. They're going to revisit that in January, I think a different court. Anyway, he's normally very detail oriented, and I think that he would have said, Billy got her out of rehab. Billy took her for egg rolls. Billy took her to the FBI. Then she got sent to Chatham County. He flat out says she was arrested at home and booked quickly into Chatham County. The police did not want anyone to jump on and get their exclusive. They wanted this quick, done, and then they told the news directors, you're going to have an announcement soon. And they told them that she had been arrested. They didn't give them a heads up, nobody, even Billy, that they were showing up. If Billy knew, I have a feeling this whole thing would have been streamed on live. We would have seen Leilani's last meal at the China King. And who the hell could eat a bunch of damn Chinese food knowing what's going on? Savage, you're exactly right. They did a kinship foster, which means the child is related to the guardian. Yes. Now then, I feel very bad in certain states because of what's going on, for grandparents, aunts, uncles that you don't want anything to happen. But if something happens in your family and a child needs a place to go, some states are looking to not do kinship placements because of cases like this. I don't think we should throw the baby out with the bathwater, if you know what I mean. That's probably not the right metaphor to use. But when you think about it, we have case after case after case after case where grandma gets the child, the aunt gets the child, or however it goes, and then the one that is unfit somehow comes in contact with this child again. And as far as Billy, the circus is over. This is in the hands of the courts now. I remember, oh gosh, one of the very first news clips. It was on WSAV, I think. And her stepdad, Billy's husband, partner, whatever. And he goes, she just lies. She lies when the truth will do. She'll lie, even if the truth sounds better. You know what I mean. And Billy's just sitting there shaking her head. And man, that jaw's cranking. And she's shaking her head, just disgusted with the whole thing. The apple didn't fall far. The apple did not fall far. No, it didn't. And honestly, Billy may not even be needed in any of these proceedings. She may not be asked to testify. They may not need her for anything. I mean, it would only hurt Leilani's case if she testifies for the defense, because she has said, why would you believe her? She did it. I don't want her in my house. She can't help the defense. And what's the prosecution going to use her for? She was working out of town. And she also, the defense can easily use this. She is known to not tell the truth. She's known to not tell the truth. Kamari said, Billy, lie is in her name. Tina, thick as thieves. So I don't know. I don't know that they even need her at this point. No idea. No idea. Danny, for sure. And Danny hasn't said a word. His cousin, I think, has been on Twitter just saying he's not going to talk to anybody. Good. Keep it that way. We can wait. We can wait. But here you have all of this going on, and your daughter is going to jail for quite possibly the rest of her natural life. And you still have to insert yourself into it as if it's the ending of a movie. You know, like I said, a few people came in here. It was aimed at me, not you guys. You guys are awesome. That listening to what Billy has to say, that's not research. Let's listen again to what Brett has to say.
Circumstances of her arrest, where and when it happened.
We know she was picked up from her home and taken to the Chatham County Detention Center. That happened just as they were making that arrest, or making that announcement on yesterday. They told us that they didn't want anyone to have any exclusives in this case. They would release this to every affiliate here in Savannah at the same time. And they kept their word to that. I can tell you that they called the news directors and they gave us a heads up that there was an announcement coming. They made that announcement. And we know that she was quickly booked into the Chatham County Jail. She was supposed to have a bond hearing.
Seems pretty clear to me. The police gave no heads up. They didn't want anyone, including YouTube, to have an exclusive. No one. They didn't want anyone camped out outside the house as they go to the house to arrest her. Nothing like that. I guess we could do a poll. You guys want to do a poll? Who do you believe? I'm sticking with what the chief reported in his press conference and what Brett reported and what WTOC reported and other. Other news outlets, she was arrested from home. I believe Catherine, the neighbor, that said there was a lot of activity. Well, what we know what the activity was, but she didn't see any police cars or anything. So I don't know. I want to look more into that. It doesn't matter. He said that she was arrested from home. They didn't want anyone to get the scoop. And she was booked quickly into Chatham County. That sounds way more plausible. Way more plausible than a belly full of beef and broccoli. These people drive me insane. So Wednesday night, now we did our Thanksgiving on Wednesday night, so I did not stream the presser for University of Idaho. I was a little let down, as you know, on Sunday night, but it was cool hanging out with all of you guys. It was as if they just read the exact same article I had posted in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group that morning. But anyway, this one was a little different. They, of course, touched on the friends. And the thing about who they're clearing, I say clearing. I don't think anyone's cleared. That's just my perception. Who they're saying I don't think is involved. All of the people they say I don't think is involved seem to all be, from my perception anyway, centered around Kaylee and Maddie. Well, I guess we need to start looking more at Ethan and Xana. A lot has gone on since November 13th. November 13th. Jeannie sent this to me, and I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to blame one of the triplets. You know, Ethan is a triplet. But this is a news article. It says they were killed while residing in a rental home on King Road close to the University of Idaho. So we knew that part. We knew that part. Ethan's parents notified the police that their son had been fatally stabbed. Although the inquiry is ongoing, the murderer has not been identified. Now, if Fox News is reporting this correctly, that Ethan's parents called the police and said that's Ethan, then that means when Dylan and Bethany, and I've been very careful to use their names, but they're all out now. We know that the two surviving roommates' names are Dylan and Bethany. If Dylan and Bethany, before they called 911, called friends over, then I'm going to assume one of those friends was Ethan's brother. All three of the triplets went to school there. That is just an assumption. That is not fact. That makes sense to me. I don't care about the unconscious person. I don't believe that that was said. I think that's just how that was relayed, the information. What did Lauren say? Mermaid said, Lauren, well, I didn't even think of that. Oh, I think so too, Lauren. Lauren said, I think the killer thought they'd have a house full of girls to themselves, but didn't know Ethan was going to be spending the night. That could be. So like I said, who's gifting memberships in here? Thanksgiving all day. Misty Dawn, thank you very much. Misty Dawn just gifted 5 memberships. That is awesome. You guys can go back and listen to the members live from Wednesday. Check out the members tab and take advantage of all the giveaways and all the stuff that's going to be going on for the month of December. So if Fox News is reporting correctly, Ethan's parents called the police and said their son had been fatally stabbed. Which would make sense that Dylan and Bethany, they weren't calling about an unconscious person. They knew that whoever they came across, which now I can definitely guess was Ethan that they came across first, because it was reported he was found on the floor. The coroner said they were believed to be in bed. I'm waiting on the medical examiner because the coroner confused the hell out of me. I'm waiting on something to come out from the medical examiner. So now that would make sense to me that they get a hold of his brother and the brother calls the parents and says, we're getting ready to call 911. Something's happened. Ethan's on, you know what I'm saying. You can fill in the blanks. Let's go to what the chief said. Exactly, Lady Justice. I'm all over the place, guys. She said, I know I've been subbed here. I just had to resub. Something's going on with YouTube and it's really pissing me off. Let's go to what the chief said. But first, I'll put this up to back up what I just said. One of the victims, understood to be 20-year-old Ethan of Conway, Washington, was discovered on the floor of the second level of the 3-story home. We know that according to the investigators on the screen on November 13th, the surviving roommates, Dylan and Bethany, summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. So it makes sense to me now that if they weren't 100% sure that Ethan was dead, I don't know, that they would call friends, and one of the friends would be Ethan's brother, one of the triplets. Ethan's brother gets a hold of his parents, who in turn get a hold of the police. Yet multiple people in the house, from inside the house, we know were also talking to 911. Imagine when that call is made public. They said many people talked to 911. I don't know how the hell many people showed up, but they said many people talked to 911. We go back to this. Ethan's parents notified the police that their son had been stabbed. They said many people had talked to 911.
So will you clarify that for me?
You're not confirming a roommate called 911, but if you used the roommate's phone, so was there someone else at the home other than those roommates?
There was other friends that had arrived at the location.
How many? Everybody at the call?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure at this time, to be quite honest.
Look at his eyes. Honestly, I'm not quite sure. So, you know what it's like, high school, college. You let one know, you might as well wake up the whole town. So when he goes, honestly, I'm not quite sure. And of course, they're still processing the murder house. They're still processing the murder house. We've gone through the layout several times. And I was looking through it again this morning because the Daily Fail, they actually did something good this time. They put a layout up, which kind of puts me back to somebody knew somebody in there. Somebody had been in that house before. That, because I was going cross-eyed looking at it. Looking at the layout, and I'm going to do a whole show about it next week when my brain doesn't have so much tryptophan in it. Because to go through this maze of a house, you would have to know, you would have to have your sights on something. Lady Justice became a new member. Thank you, Lady Justice. Look forward to seeing you in the members' lives. I just really think it's someone they know. Now we get to the stalker theory. Mark Furman, yes, that Mark Furman from the OJ days, he lives in Idaho, and he's been weighing in on Fox quite a bit and a few other news networks saying that someone said, and this is second, third-hand information from what I heard, that Kaylee was being stalked. Well, I thought, well, if she's being stalked, this shouldn't take too long to whittle down. This is 2022, for God's sake. Because, well, I mean, social media. Unless she only confided in Maddie and she complained of a stalker. It wasn't Maddie that was saying she had a stalker, so she obviously confided in someone. She had to have said something like, you know, this dude won't leave me alone. Every time I walk out of class, he's right there. He keeps showing up to the house, and I told everybody don't invite him to any more of our parties. You know what I mean. Okay, thank you. This is good to know. The daily fail floor plan is not accurate. The homeowner has given people the new updated floor plan. Okay, so I can scratch that off my list. I love you guys. Thank you for that. Thank you. So like I said, if there is a stalker, and we know how rumors go in these cases, they pop up like weeds. They do. She would have complained to someone who obviously is still alive. Hey, I come out of class, this dude's here. I don't want this guy at the house anymore for parties. He's all over. He keeps sending me messages and we're not friends on Instagram or Facebook or however the kids do it. I know they were all on Instagram. Or this chick is liking my damn pictures from 2019. She knows that I'm getting back together with Jack. I know she's been talking to Jack. You know what I mean? And then this rumor has come out. Thank you, Radio Gaga. That was next on my list. Why was Kaylee home for the weekend? Had she moved out? Was she just visiting? Now, the TikTok and the pictures from her room, the room that she either currently had on November 13th or had before, I'm very confused about this and I really need to know. She's in the room with the balcony and the sliding glass door. It is to be assumed that that at one time was her room. Her parents have been on every show I can think of. I've seen their clips on the Today Show. I know they've spoken to News Nation. I know they had a very long interview with Fox. They never mentioned that she had moved out of that house. So I don't know where this is coming from. I would think that would be something very important to say. It's my assumption she still lived there, that she had gone home for the weekend, home, to see her parents the weekend before. She bought a Range Rover. She had gotten a job full-time. And she went back because she wanted Maddie to see the new ride. They obviously didn't take the new ride when they went out that night. They planned to have some drinks. And other people are coming out with some sketchy stuff that happened months leading up to. We know there hasn't been a murder in Moscow since 2015. They can definitely take that off their list. They got one now. And then there's this. There's the weird Venmos flying back and forth. This seems to be a trend. These kids sending each other money all the time. We had it in the Kylie Rodney case. This one got a Venmo. That one got a Venmo. And the people that they're talking about that were Venmoing each other, some of them are on the list. I think actually all of them are on the list that the police addressed on Wednesday. The list of people who they say they don't believe are involved. Let's look at the clip.
We do not believe the following individuals were involved. The two surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call, We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual.
All right, so the ex-boyfriend, that's who they were calling. It was like 7 times, and Maddie called him like 3 times or something. That's really the only thing that makes sense to me in this. Some people it doesn't. They're like, well, why did Maddie call him too? They must have needed help. Now that's a girl thing. I've done that before. I've done that back in my day. You know, old boy didn't want to have a fight at 2 a.m. or talk about their future. So he either ignored the call, or he was sleeping, or he could have been out with another date. Who knows? So it's like, he's not answering my call here. You call him. You call him. See if he answers from your number. That's something I would have done. That to me is not weird. That to me is not weird. But they're saying they don't believe he's involved. And if you need help, you call 911. Nobody would think to call him if they feel their lives are in danger. So Jack is cleared. Private party driver, who is not named, is cleared. The guy at the Grubhub, they don't believe he's involved. The 2 surviving roommates, and the whole chorus of people that got to talk to 911, they don't believe any of them are involved. Who do we have left? Who do we have left? Isn't Jack, help me if I'm wrong, because there's so many names. Isn't the Jack that they're speaking of, isn't he a frat brother of Ethan's that went along with them? I don't know. I'm going to look at part of the Daily Mail thing, and then we're going to look at this clip, which, by the way, I think is from yesterday, so it's probably already outdated. Actually, I'll do that first. Hang on. That might help us. Who could be involved? Everybody that they mark off their list seems to somehow be tied to Kaylee and Maddie. So is it a stranger, or is it someone tied to Ethan and Xana? There you go, peas in a pod. What if it's a boyfriend of one of the survivors? We don't know.
A plea from police in Idaho tonight to send in information that could help find a killer. It's been 10 days since these 4 University of Idaho students were found stabbed to death in their home. Investigators built this timeline for the night of the attack. 2 roommates who survived came home at 1 a.m. Then 45 minutes later, the 4th victim arrived. Then just before noon that same day, someone called 911 from one of the 2 surviving roommates' cell phones. Police have ruled out those 2 people as suspects, but maintain this was a targeted attack.
We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that, and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report.
Police say they will ramp up their presence around the university when students return from the holiday break, and there will be a candlelight vigil next week.
Hey, if you like that.
Hey, if you like that video. I'm glad they're really promoting this vigil on November 30th. I am. I think that is, what, Tuesday? I have to look at my calendar. I hope they do it like Delphi did back in 2019, where everybody that goes has to sign. I hope there is heavy police there. I hope there are many people in that crowd from the behavioral science unit of the FBI who are there and lending their resources. Because if it's a stalker and someone that she complained about, meaning Kaylee, that would be kind of easy to me, from my vantage point, That would be easy to me to whittle that down. I hear, a couple, there's some OnlyFans things going on. I've never heard that reported by the police, and no reporter has asked. I've been waiting for that question to come up, and no one has asked. So I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's hope the Daily Fail didn't screw up too bad, because I'm just going to go through part of this. And this, again, is centered around Kaylee and Madison. I'm just wondering, are we missing something? The killer came in and went to floor 2. Unless they came across Ethan and he caught them off guard. I don't know. Granted, there's no elevator to take him to floor 3. But if the killer, and I keep saying him, but anyway, if they know the house and their target is Kaylee or their target is Madison, then wouldn't you go up the stairs, then to the other set of stairs and go up to floor 3 and then get the hell out of Dodge? I don't know. I don't know. Floor 2 was definitely hit, though. We skipped floor 1. So there's a lot of theories about how the killer got in the house. Was it the sliding door, which would bring you right into floor 2? Or was it the front door that was ajar, which means he came in floor 1 and skipped Dylan and Bethany? And that the target was on floor 3, but Ethan surprised him. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right. So the Daily Fail never fails. I think anybody can write for the Daily Fail. I do. Have you noticed it's always a different journalist in quotes on there? I guess you just submit your story. Hell, I don't know. So it says new details have now emerged about Kaylee and Maddie's last night out from Joe Vito, a local man who saw the two co-eds out on the town and in the hours before the attack. Police had previously said that the women were partying at the Corner Club bar that night before the attack. Vito was there also and said that the women were catching the attention of many of the men at the bar. A lot of guys were talking to them at the Corner Club, adding that Kaylee was visibly drunk. Now, I don't know Kaylee, never hung out with Kaylee, but what I saw from, when I think visibly drunk, I think a lot of slurring of the words, your gait's off a little bit. I don't know what he considers visibly drunk, because the food truck video where she orders the Mexican food, she's not like, I want everything. And starts garbling it down as soon as he hands it to her. She speaks normal to me. I've heard her other videos. She's not speaking impaired. Did anyone think that she sounded sloppy? He says she's visibly drunk. Don't know. A lot of guys were talking to them. Throat's dry. And she was visibly drunk. That's Kaylee. The taller girl with the pink on, she was glassy-eyed. I audibly said, ooh, out loud. She was stumbling through. He said he left the Corner Club ahead of the girls and was with a neighbor who had just moved to Moscow, showing her the grub bus, a food truck popular with the students, with the late-night munchies. Only Daily Fail would have to throw that in there. I was just there waiting because the Grubhub bus takes forever when a bunch of drunk zombies show up there, he said, noting that he was 100% sober. All right, Joe. That's when the women showed up with a guy in a hoodie who has been the subject of much speculation among internet sleuths as a suspect. Police have not named the man, but said that he is not considered a suspect. Well, hell, we know who he is. They may not have named him, but we know who it is. I saw the hoodie guy show up with the two of them. The vibe I got from him is that he's super nice. He was trying to help them get home safe. All right, so there's the girls. There's a picture we've all seen. Another picture outside the house. There's the sliding door. That does not have a bar stool in it, if you look in the back. And this guy could be trying to get his 15 minutes of fame too, guys. So we take it all with a grain of salt. Vito defended the man as a dutiful chaperone who may have had amorous intentions on his mind. We did talk about that in one show, that guy theory. You know, a group of pretty girls or just a group of girls. It's common to have that guy who is friends with all the girls, that guy that will come at 1 o'clock in the morning and pick them up because they're drunk. Listen to their boyfriend problems, you know, a shoulder to cry on. Oh, here, I'll come out in the snow and I'll change your tire. And in the back of their mind, they have that someday all of this being that guy is going to pay off and she's going to look at me in a different light. This guy could be that guy, if you know what I mean. They did not take an Uber, Sarah. They were taken home by a private party. It was said last week, the police said it's not an Uber, it was a private party. And I've asked before, is it a friend? Or did they just run into some random stranger and say, can you take us home? Because that guy that was ordering food with us is making us mad. I don't know. Vidot said he was funny, he was nice, he was there to make sure that they got home safe because they were super drunk. I thought he was a solid guy. Believe me when I tell you that his vibe was not bad. How did Joe Vidot pick up all of this? And why was he paying such close attention? Not saying he's a suspect, it's just weird. I was making fun of one of the guys who showed up at the grub bus in short shorts and a tank top, and it was cold, Vidot said. I said, relax, bro, some of us are still single. That made everybody laugh, and then he made a joke. Who the hell's going to be outside in shorts and a tank top? That dude must have been drunk. That's visibly drunk. He said people were just talking and chatting, waiting for their food orders. Kaylee and Madison were hanging around the truck window, hounding people who were picking up their orders. He said it was then that a dark four-door sedan showed up. A guy got out and yelled, hurry up, Vidot said. I saw them get into the car and it looked like they just ditched him. I said, bro, they're leaving. He said, what the F? And I said, sorry, brother. Now, mind you, this is being reported by the Daily Fail. They didn't go to any Tulane School of Journalism or anything. So this is Joe Vidot saying he thought the guy was funny and nice. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What's he know? Knock-knock jokes? What the hell is he talking about? Funny and nice. He's just standing there waiting on them to order food. Anyway, I know that Kaylee's sister is still saying it's an Uber. They might have had something like that they ordered an Uber. Who knows? Maybe an Uber showed up and they were already gone. I don't know. The police are saying no Uber. The police are saying no Uber, a private party. Joe Vidot, as he's standing there looking at the guy in shorts and a tank top, sees them jump into a four-door sedan. He says to food truck guy, who is very nice, by the way, and was just there making sure they got a ride home. I don't know how he knows all that, but the Daily Fail knows. A guy got out and yelled, hurry up. I saw them get into the car and it looked like they just ditched him. I said, bro, they're leaving. And he said, what the F? And I said, sorry, brother. Now, unless food truck guy is truly unhinged, I don't see them ditching him, making him so mad that he's going to go commit quadruple murder. I don't know the guy. All right, there's victim's final moments. 8 p.m., Ethan and Xana attend the Sigma Chi party, so we knew that. Kaylee and Maddie at the Corner Club a little after midnight, 1:30 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie at the Grub Truck. So Daily Fail has a different time. They say 1:30 a.m., listen to me, 1:30 a.m., they say. I've seen other reports, 1:40 a.m. See why I beat my head against the wall? Because I said on one show, I said, so how the hell between 1:40 a.m. and 1:45 were they back at the house? Yes, I know it's close. It's only a mile and a half, but come on, 5 minutes. So 1:30, so then they're back home around 1:45. That would make a little more sense. And that is in a case where nothing makes sense except drunk dialing Jack at 2 a.m. The grub bus cashier had mercy on the two women and handed them the food, and they took it and they ran to the car. I said to the guy, "Did you just give those girls food without them paying?" He was like, "Yeah, they had to go home." I hope somebody talks to the food truck guy and sees and finds out if this is true or not, because you scratch a lie, you find a thief. So if he's lying about this, then he's lying about other things. And it looked to me in that video that they were paying the guy. He didn't just hand out food and them run off. I got to find that video. I should have had it ready. I apologize. But like I said, this is a catch-up show. The day after the news of the murders broke, Vidot realized that he had some information that police could use in the investigation. The only thing that I was able to do is verify the timeline and tell the police that they got into the car. The driver of the car has also been eliminated as a suspect by police. Vidot said that the case really hit home with him. He said, "I was there. I have a little girl, and at the end of the day, a dad's going through Thanksgiving without a daughter, and that really hurts," he said. I don't know what Joe was doing out partying with college kids if he's got a little girl at home, but I don't know. I don't know. I clearly saw what appeared to me to be a money exchange. But I guess Joe could be mistaken about that part. I don't know. Them running off and getting in the sedan and leaving that guy behind, I can see that in the video. It's insane. So this is what the Daily Fail is reporting. That's what they're saying, that this guy witnessed this, and that not only did they not pay, but the guy verified that they had to go home. I don't know about you guys, but I've always got to go home too, and I still have to pay for my stuff. Joe had to go home too. Did Joe have to pay? Joe's got a little girl at home. I bet Joe had to pay. I bet the guy in cut-off shorts and the tank top on a 25-degree night, I bet he had to pay. I think somebody added a little too much frosting to the cake that was not needed. That's what I think about that part, at least. That's what I think about that part. Jumping in the sedan and leaving that one guy behind, I can see that, because until the police come out and say they were wrong and that there actually was an Uber, I'm going with private party. And the private party is not a suspect. Let's look at that again, of who they have cleared. Because once these people are off the table, who does that leave us with? Who does that leave us with? Everybody that they're knocking out seems to be tied to Kaylee and Maddie.
We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the two surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual.
So they don't suspect him. I put a picture up. I know it's in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. It was from the New York Post, and it's a picture, they say, of Jack, ex-boyfriend, 2 a.m. Jack, where he's with the puppy dog Murphy, because he's got the dog. And of course, everybody noticed that his hair is brown. His hair is brown. I wouldn't blame him for changing his hair color, because he probably is being stalked. He probably is. He might have changed it before. I didn't know that this man existed up until a couple weeks ago. I don't know. Yeah, his hair is as red as mine. But the picture from New York Post, and on the community tab, sometimes I don't pay attention. You guys know how I am. And it says you have to set it to not expire. If not, the post goes away in a day. But it's in the, let me see if I have it saved on here. Jack with Murphy. Here it is. Murphy with Jack. I gave Murphy credit over Jack. Hang on. I'll put it up real quick. But I thought it was interesting that if it is him, for sure, and they say it is, Jack DeCoeur with Murphy in Moscow, Idaho. They said this picture was taken. Let me look on my end. It's clearer on my end. They say this picture was taken on November 22nd. Today's the 25th. And they posted it that day too. So what was the 22nd? Monday? Monday or Tuesday? But they're saying that's him. Didn't follow Jack before, if you know what I mean. No reason to. So I don't know if the new hairdo is a recent thing or he did it before. I don't know. Hang on one second. I just missed a comment I wanted to put up and now I can't find it. Of course I can't. One of you said, and I missed it, I apologize. I don't think it's a cool move either. Granted, I'm not in the FBI, not in the behavioral science unit, do not work for law enforcement any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's smart, and it's really actually kind of unheard of that they're coming out so early, and this case is early. I know people are screaming, why don't they have why haven't they arrested anybody yet? Quadruple murder, tons of evidence. They've already got over 100 pieces of evidence, tons of DNA in that house. Tons. So to come out in less than 2 weeks and you're already saying, this person is not of interest. This person is not of interest. That doesn't mean they can't change it later. I just think it's odd. I just think it's odd. And I've never seen it before. And I follow tons of cases. Tons. And as far as the stalker, who at this point I guess we can guess is just a rumor and didn't exist, I guarantee somebody said it. Oh, Kaylee was being stalked. Oh, really? By who? What'd she say? In these cases, there's a Jody Sue every time.
We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report.
Can't find the stalker. Granted, it's only been 2 weeks, but somebody would have said it's this guy on campus, or it's a girl that had a crush on Jack and didn't like them getting back together, or she had an OnlyFans account, and this guy, she kept blocking him and blocking him and blocking him and blocking him, and he kept popping back up. So for them saying, we can't find anything, either they're not looking too hard or stalker doesn't exist. I don't know. Only 2 weeks. It's just my opinion that they're really trying to appease the public and they're really trying to appease the family. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Radio Gaga. No, it has not. Has it been verified that she had an OnlyFans, though? No, it has not. And when I went back through the presser from Wednesday, I thought by now, one of those reporters has heard the same rumor I've heard. And they're going to ask. They haven't even asked about it. So I'm just going to assume, for now, that it's not true. Because if a reporter's not asking about, have you checked into this, then it's not out there. Now, I'm saying this with all due respect to the families. I know there's a lot of people that have come at me in comments afterwards, and that's fine. We're here to discuss this insanity in these cases. So when people say, but the family said, look. And I mean this with all due respect. The family was not going to college with the kids. So when they say, look, there's no love triangle, the family wouldn't know. I'm sorry. Or there's nothing like that involved. They wouldn't know. It's very possible that out of 4 families, not every family was being told everything that was going on. So we can just not even have that argument anymore. No argument to be had. It's kind of hard when you're in your 40s like me and you have to dial it back and like, okay, when I was in my teens and early 20s, even as a young mom and dad were not the first to know anything. And I think about my own kids when they were in college. Well, one of them went to college. They're all in the military. But they didn't tell me everything. But I thought I did. I thought I knew everything. I think I know everything now, but I don't. Did you notice the hoodie guy didn't go the same direction of the girls when he was leaving the food truck? Well, see, and that's another thing about Joe Vidot's story. If he says to him, hey, they left you, don't you think he'd run after him? If he's supposed to be the chaperone and he's keeping him safe? He didn't even go the same direction. So I don't know. I'm not putting a lot of stock. No, Christina, you smarty pants. No, Christina. So I'm not putting a lot of stock in what Joe Vidot said, because he just happened to be in the right place at the right time, did he not? Maybe there's something in there. I don't know. Let me put the name in here. It's in the Daily Mail. Joevidot. But anyway, unless somebody wants to grab the link and come up and chat, that's all I got right now. And we're not anywhere near caught up because a lot more stuff went on this week. I got to catch up. Yeah, Lauren, this case is frustrating. And the Quinton case is frustrating. Of course, Monkey's case is frustrating. Well, they're all frustrating. This case, I'm stumped, dude. We've been doing this a long time. Some of you guys have been around since before there was even a channel. And, you know, when we pick up a case and we start discussing it, we kind of already have an opinion of which way we're going. And we're most of us, the details, we don't see eye to eye on, but we're going in the same direction. This case, I'm stumped. I'm stumped. I'm stumped. And every time they come out and talk, hopefully I'm not the only one, because I would feel really bad about myself. Every time they come out with an update, I'm like, how can I be more confused than I was? Every update should fill in some piece of the puzzle, and it's making the puzzle bigger. It's like you went to a garage sale and you bought like 20 puzzles. They're all missing pieces and you dumped them all on the floor. It's crazy. And as far as like the little Quinton case, I think at this point we should all be on the same page. It'll never happen, but at least here we know what's going on. We know what's going on for sure. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Unless we pop in over the weekend, you never know. But if not, it will be Monday when we're back on the channel. In the meantime, check in with the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. Come say hi. Come into Discord. We have a new room in Discord for a new case that we haven't even talked about on this channel yet. So got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm glad that everyone survived their turkey coma. If you guys are going out and you're going to brave the crowds today, I'm saying a prayer for you. Let me know what good deals you found, and I will see you back here Monday. You guys are the absolute best. I am not just saying that for sure, but you are the absolute best. Community and chat and friends. Yes, I consider you my friends on YouTube. See you later.